Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are having an incredible day and welcome to Self Love Sundays. This broadcast is starting an hour later than was planned due to something going on with Zoom not wanting me to go live today. So, yeah, we'll have to figure out what's going on with that. But in the meantime, I'm going to make a quick post. Today, we're going to discuss the Tien, the center, the cultivation of self-empowerment. Okay, so please feel free to share. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and share this. I'm not able to go live on Facebook, unfortunately. Let me go ahead and see this. Okay. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this. Okay, I can't. All right, so that's not working. Okay, so please do share this live if you are on social medias. Hello, thank you so much for joining me. So wonderful to see everybody here today. Normally this broadcast will start at 1 on Sundays. And today we're just running late because something is going on with Zoom not wanting us to go live. So we'll have to figure out what that's all about, something about accesses. Okay, hello, Angela. Hello, Manny. Hello, Dr. Julie K. Hello, Victoria. It's so wonderful to see you here. Okay, so let's get started. So in Self Love Sundays, in this session, we're going to be reviewing a couple topics. We're going to be talking a little bit about just weekly energies, what is the energetic climate, vibrational frequency, and how we can utilize that for our soul evolution, assisting our soul through this human evolution, human process of our everyday lives. And really, the key is to learn how to integrate the spiritual with the physical. Now, normally, as soon as I get my Zoom to work, I want this to be a very interactive event where you guys can come into my Zoom link and you can ask questions and we can actually work one-on-one with that live. And in order to access the registration for that, you can access my website, but you can also access my meetup group. And I will link all that below so that you can check it out. It would be great to have this a very interactive kind of event with you guys, because I know you have so many questions. I always receive hundreds of questions a week, and there isn't nearly enough time to answer all of them. So I thought it would be really great to create this weekly meditation again, as we used to before, and help answer those questions. So we're going to start today's session actually jumping into talking about the Dantian. What is the Dantian? The Dantian is the center core of energy center in the body. And actually, how we utilize this center core of energy helps us actually master the confusion and the input of the imbalance of all aspects of ourselves emotionally that begin to distort our ability to clearly move energetically. Discernment, cultivation of life force, intentional manifestation, and healing of the body. So when the Dantian is in a state of disempowerment or out of balance, we are basically depleting life force, and spinning, the vortex of our body is spinning in an opposite direction. So I'm going to explain how this works. I'm actually going to show you a couple images so that it's kind of clear as to how, so we can understand how to work with these centers. It's really important that we understand how to work with them. So give me one moment so I can pull that up. And I also want to let you know that some of the slides that I talk about are live on my website that you guys can check out. You guys can access those. And if you have any questions, please go ahead. There's a question box below that you can go ahead and submit your questions with any of the concepts that I am sharing with you. Okay, so let me begin by sharing my screen really quickly. Hold on a moment. Share screen. Here we go. Let me just expand this open. All right, so I'm going to share the screen with you. Can you guys see that? Okay, great. So our physical bodies, this is going to be really informal presentation, so please don't mind the non-presentation mode. Our physical bodies are actually processing different vibrational frequencies in the body. And for many of you that feel it's difficult to come into a state of empowerment, let's talk about the formula of empowerment. How does a person come into self-empowerment? It's really the combination of the mind, body, and soul. When those are in alignment and when the actions and intentions are congruent from these sections of the body, these aspects of the self, this is when the body can come into absolute empowerment. And so today I want to explain a little bit about that. Now, different parts of the body receive different frequency waves. And these different frequency waves are processed by the body in different ways that allow, when we have fluid movement in these areas, we actually can spin our vortex faster. And when we don't have them in alignment, we spin slower. So we talked many times about how our vortex is spinning is actually the key to activating our highest vibrational frequency. Because when we're spinning, it means that all of the centers in the physical body are not stagnant, they are not filled with blockages, therefore not able to move, right? So this is kind of how our physical body works. And anytime that we have blockages in our body, which means emotional thoughts, parasitic behaviors, things that are moving our life force out of uh, proper movement, these are thought forms. These are thought forms, everything from I'm not worthy, I'm alone, I'm disconnected, any of these kinds of thought forms that are accumulated in the body. And I hear these thought forms all the time in my sessions every single day. We have very profound subconscious belief systems of separation. And those subconscious belief systems of separation can really break down into many different kinds of thought forms. So when these thought forms accumulate in the body, remember that the emotional body is actually the key. The emotional body is the key. So this is incredibly important. The emotional body is the third layer of your body. And the third layer of your body is the one that's managing this emotional center. And what happens when we have this out of balance, when we're in a constant state of survival, for example, here in the lower realms, this is our Tien is producing very low vibrational frequency. We are literally emanating this frequency, and therefore the vortex is spinning at a very low frequency rate. The wavelengths that we're emitting into the system are completely low. And so we become resonant to these low experiences that will match the belief systems that are here. So this is why it is so super, super important to clear your energetic body. So one of the goals that I have of Self-Love Sunday, especially in our group session like today, is we're going to be working on clearing the body every single week. And we're going to clear the 13 dimensional layers of the body. So it's important that in your meditation, we begin to cultivate the awareness, that very subtle awareness of connecting with your body so that you can begin to communicate with the body. Many people have a hard time using their intuition. Many people have a hard time sitting in meditation. This is difficult because at a very early age, we have had a disconnect between the mind and the body as a result of heavy trauma. And trauma can be anything from a mother that was negligent. It could be everything from a father that was aloof. It could be any of these disconnects in which the child's needs, our inner child, was not met, was not acknowledged. Everything that this human essence requires in order to understand itself as worthy and as part of a whole. When we do not maintain those concepts within our body, we completely become out of balance. So essentially, what happens is that when we clear these bodies from thought forms, we allow life force to fluidly move through the body. And this is really, really, really important because if we don't have the life force moving through the center of the body, the vortex isn't spinning. Okay, so we have to learn how to spin this vortex. And when we talk about the spin of the vortex, it's important for you to pay attention, and I want you to pay attention in today's meditation. What direction is your vortex spinning? The spin will tell you if either you need to release from your organism at that time or you need to absorb. That means you need to nourish. Okay? When your life force is heavily depleted, let's say emotional imbalances, expressions that have depleted your life force, all of the life force leaves the body, and it's very easy for the body to become sick. The immune system starts to crash because when we have a depletion of life force, usually we are utilizing anxieties and stresses, emotions that are constantly depleting. How do they deplete energy in the life in the body? When we embody these thought forms of fears, anxieties, doubt, because they're such low density frequencies, we begin to create holes in the field, in the areas in which we are sustaining these emotional thought forms for a long time. So if you start to feel an anxiety, the anxiety will start first as an emotion, and then it will solidify as you continue to resist that emotion in the body. It literally begins to dwell into the physical body. You'll notice that your muscles begin to tighten. Oftentimes, people feel the constriction of anxiety in the solar plexus, in which they are unable to breathe. It's hard for them to regulate, self regulate the nervous system. So these are things that happen unconsciously in the body. There are natural parts of processing life force in the body, but we are so unconscious. We are in such a fight or flight mode that there's a complete disconnect between the body and what's actually occurring to you external. So it's very important that you are constantly connecting with your body, coming back to that 0 point, and becoming aware of how your body is feeling at all times. Right now, while you're watching me on this screen, how is your center core? Are your muscles tied up? Okay. Are your muscles relaxed? Are you breathing fully into the base of the spine? Is your spine straight? Are you aware of your physical body, or is your poor body tangled up in some way that you're completely not aware of how life force is moving through? Okay, so this is really, really important to notice how we are moving this energy through. And the way that life force is flowing through the body will either allow you to move and activate the higher bodies or block your access to source. So, those of you that say you're having difficulty channeling, connecting, meditating, intuition, take a look at what's happening with your Tien. This is the center of empowerment, the center core of the body. We have a higher, middle, and lower. And when we have a lot of sexual energy depletion, for example, imbalanced sexual depletion, or when we're in a state of fear and anxiety for long amounts of time, because the stagnation is blocking life force into these areas, usually they become atrophied over time, in which the chakras literally don't spin anymore. they become stagnant. And usually it's the back of the body that becomes stagnant. So what does that mean? So the back of the body is the subconscious mind. So every time the front of the body is the conscious, the back of the body is the subconscious, and that represents the feminine, right? The subconscious is the divine feminine. So anytime that we are suppressing our thoughts and our belief systems, we are blocking, and the feminine is the intuition. So we are blocking our intuition. Okay. The masculine is the action, and the feminine is the intuition. So be mindful that your thought forms and the way that you're behaving in your everyday life is really the key to unlocking the activation of this physical body and the activation of the higher faculties of the physical body are accessible by working on these core centers in the body in order for you to activate self-empowerment in the body. And this full moon that we're experiencing this weekend is enhancing, releasing old patterns so that you can come into your empowerment with clarity. Okay, what makes empowerment possible is that the human has clarity. There is a congruent connection between the mind, body, and soul, and all sections are working in alignment. When one of these sections are out of alignment, we cannot have congruent action. And action is not just a matter of moving things or, the activations of the muscles in the body and actually movement. We're talking about movement that the human has the ability of creating in the field, which is multidimensional. We are multidimensional. So the way that we're actually moving and navigating this physical experience is more than just physical. We are inputting it into through the subconscious mind into the quantum field. All of the intentional vibrational frequency that begins to shift as a resonance into the experiences that we're having. So anytime that we begin to block this lower section with heavy emotions that have not been processed, we are blocking the ability to enhance core life force. This Tien has been called the tripper burner, okay, which burns, and the idea is that it is essentially in Chinese medicine and in Qigong, we talk about the Dantian, the lower center, the center of empowerment, but it's also a burner that begins to alchemize low density metals into high density metals, functioning metals, right? Such as gold. So this is basically talking about the alchemization. The engine for alchemization is located in the dantian, here in the lower section. We are transmuting fear and separation programs. We are transmuting sexual blockages and creative blockages, and we are transmuting the from the ego into the unity consciousness. And when we have blockages in these or inversions in the way that we perceive these things, literally we cannot manifest. And also the body cannot come into health. There is a profound connection. As you know, it's called the second brain. The second brain is this the biome, here, the intestinal, the intestines, all of the systems that are processing the eliminations of the body, and also the nourishment of the body is located here in this center core. So when we have belief systems of self-hate, angers, resentments towards the self, we are unable to process nourishment even from the food that we're eating. So this is why many times I have mentioned that it really doesn't matter what you're eating as much as the intention, because ultimately this beautiful instrument of the physical body has the ability to transmute and transform matter into the frequency that is required. And this is the power of the human. The alchemization process of the human starts with beginning to cultivate life force. Are you ingesting life force that is vibrant and healing for the body? Are you cultivating from what you're ingesting what is necessary for the body consciously, or are you unconsciously ingesting, and then most of what you're ingesting is basically going to waste? So there's many ways that the human body can begin to utilize this instrument in a way to actually work for the healing, for the expansion, for the enlightenment of the physical body. And the enlightenment is the ability to transmute these lower densities into the highest. The alchemy. The alchemy was studied as metal, and there's an entire section to this about how actually your blood, our blood, which holds a lot of iron in it, actually goes through an alchemical process when you begin to enter into higher states of frequency as well. And we literally begin to produce and secrete from the gland of our pineal gland. We begin to activate this juice. It's like a serum of higher consciousness. This is created by the purification of the life force that is moving through the spinal cord and purified through the Tien, this triple burner, through the center core of the body. This is where we transmute these kinds of low frequency density, stagnant energies, heavy frequencies that are flowing so low into high frequencies. So your body, literally, when you're in a state of survival and fear, we are literally pulling down life force. We are grounding life force into the body. We are not cultivating a frequency that is moving and activating the higher faculties of the body. So this is what happens. We become stagnant. This doesn't spin. Most of you right now, if you check into your body and you're in a state of survival, you're not even conscious of what your muscles in the center core are doing. But you have no idea the importance of these muscles because they are holding emotional data. So when we're unconscious of our emotions, we are usually the muscles in the center core are tight. Everything in your body has a purpose. Everything has a beautiful function. It's like a puzzle piece. It's an instrument that when we understand how to work with the physical body, we can begin to move life force, healing, vitality. You can literally heal your body overnight. Okay? And it's a matter of learning how to read your body. So in today's meditation, I want you to become acquainted with how it feels to read the information that is here in the solar plexus. Now, this is the center of empowerment because when we are resolving our emotions, when we are beginning to process and alchemize low density into high frequency, we actually become more fluid. We are not in a state of survival. We are in a state of flow. It is the 0 point. This is how you reach the 0 point. Many people ask me, how do we embody the 0 point? The 0 point is embodied by the mastery of the first 3 bodies. This is the mastery of the emotions, because the emotions are the frequency transmitter, translator, communication device with the physical realm. So we live in this holographic matrix that is actually being created by all that you are believing, thinking. So if you're in a state of survival, your entire reality is projected inside of your field, and it is intermeshed with other fields. Of course, we are co-creating, but we are inputting into the system what we're believing. And it's not just superficial thoughts. Again, it is the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is what projects into the body. And so if we have deep-rooted belief systems of unworthiness, perhaps you might not even be aware of the thought forms that are in your subconscious mind because you haven't sat down with yourself to observe the patterns of emotions that you most come into. This is why in meditations, most of my practices, I take you to observe that. We can never have enough of that. It's always going to be the same. When we observe the emotional patterns that we're having, even just today, this morning or this night, if you wherever you are in the world, however you spent before getting to this video with me today, noticing what your body, most of us abandon the body in such a way that we're so disconnected with the nervous system, with what they're feeling, with what, there's no mindfulness connection to the body. So our poor body, like a puppet, is kind of just going through the motions of survival. And many of you, when I say the word survival, you think, no, I'm not in survival. But what is survival? Survival is counter creation. Anything that is not in coherence and in alignment and congruency with all parts of yourself is in survival, because survival is separation. Okay, when we believe we are separate in any way, separate from the source, from the whole, from our families, from our homes, when we believe that we're separate in any way, which is an untruth, we are experiencing this counter creation, because inherently the subconscious belief system is that you are not whole. So we want to embody wholeness. The wholeness is the integration of the feminine and masculine within the body. And in order to cultivate this balance within the body, in order to activate this Tien energy, we need to create balance of the emotions. Okay, these emotions store within the body, within the muscles, within all the layers of the body. The nervous system, the chemical systems of the body are activated and triggered by imbalanced thought forms. Okay, so when we bring the body into a balanced state, the physical also comes into balance immediately. Immediately. Okay, it comes into balance. So what I'd like to work with you today is beginning to work with this center core, because what happens when we start working with the emotions and bring it into balance is that we now begin to operate in a way that we are moving that vortex, and everything in the subconscious mind, when you activate the back of the chakra, solar sacral root, you clean that out. And there's two ways to clean it out, guys. Two ways to clean out this energetic body is by removing the blockages that you find in your space energetically. The debris, all of this debris that you find, these are thought forms. So you can either remove them out of your body, and this requires the cultivation of your intuition, training of your intuition. And the second way, and the most profound and long-lasting way, is that you get into the subconscious belief systems that are feeding into these thought forms. This is how we deprogram. Okay, so today, in today's meditation, what we're going to do in today's Self-Love Sunday, right now that we have this powerful reminder as to how to work with this Tien, when this center core is nice and fluid, this is that center plane is where you can master the physical plane. Okay, all parts of our body are essential. Whatever is happening in these different parts of your body is speaking to what's happening in the subconscious mind and in the blockages that we're holding. So, how do we create a fluid movement? Number one, we are clearing the blockages in the multidimensional body. Number two, we are learning how to cultivate life force. Okay, cultivation of life force. Cultivation of life force is created by the 0 point. How much and how often can you keep yourself in the 0 point in order to regenerate the body? Most of us are not in the 0 point most of our time. So the more we come into the 0 point, the more we begin to cultivate that life force. And that life force is creation energy. Nothing should be done without intention. Intention is important. If you're sleeping and you're just acting, you're basically artificial intelligence. You are just a program that is running programs. So to interfere with those programs means that you're waking up and entering into the state of co-creation. And co-creation, there's a responsibility to co-creation, right? We need to purify the intentional frequency, we need to, it's a purification process, right? That's what the alchemization process is. It's a purification. What are we purifying? We're purifying dense thought forms into high frequency thought forms. So from fear to separation. So begin to work with these opposites, these contrasting energies and thought forms that you have within you. Fear, love, separation, unity. Okay, what are these core belief systems that are stifling your expansion, your growth, your ability to see yourself as one, and your ability to come into that 0 point? We cannot enter, you cannot fake the 0 point. This is something that I want to be very clear about. I see many of you coming into a state of joy, some of my clients, and they have this joyful demeanor about them, but really in the core, there's these belief systems of unworthiness or fears or anxieties. That is what's creating, guys. You cannot fake, you cannot have this facade of unity, but on the inside, you really believe in separation. This is non congruent. And the one that will be affected by that, of course, is the self, because the human body, when it's constantly incongruent, it becomes sick, right? Because it's like the body is not able to move through this in alignment with its frequency. There is a disconnect in the field, and we keep going back to this point. Remember that the entire body is made out of points of frequency. So when we condense these thought forms into a space, we haven't processed it, it becomes a reference point that we keep coming back to. And this becomes our identification. We become identified with it. Essentially, your personality is a product of everything that you've accumulated over time that hasn't been processed. A lot of times, and this is something that some people hear and they say, how can you say such a thing? But the personality is mostly made up of survival mechanisms. Okay, so the idea to come into the 0 point is to be able to dissolve of all the personalities, the facades, the masks that we've made in order to be okay in different circumstances, especially those of you that have grown up in families with a lot of trauma, a lot of stress, imbalanced parents, family members that weren't able to hold safe, secure space at home, creating a sense of having to chameleon yourself in different circumstances in order to receive love, in order to receive affection, acknowledgement, all of these things that are core, fundamental, uh, essential parts of you as a human. And this is where we get to the next step after learning how to alchemize these energies within yourself. What you find in the 0 point is an infinite fountain of all that you've been searching. So we become the providers of that love, of that affection, of that nourishment. This is nourishment of the mind, body, and soul. When we nourish the mind, body, and soul on a daily basis, I guarantee the priorities in your life will change. The eating habits will change. The choices and the people that you're around will change. You don't really have to do much except focus on this. This is the generation. This is how you build the life force, the empowerment of the body, of this beautiful instrument of the human body. You can begin to learn how to utilize it for the co creation of a life that is expansive. Okay, so this is where we're going to begin with our meditation for the week. And I'm going to go into the chat really quick to see if we have any questions that I can answer. It's so wonderful to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. It is such a joy to be sharing time with you today. Hello, Scott. Hello, 80s Horror Film. Hello, Liza. 10 p.m. in the UK. Thank you for joining us. Blue Wool. Edel, so great to see you here. Bliss, blessed. Hello, aloha. Annie with an E. Yes, thank you. Please do like this if you do enjoy this this session. Alberta, Canada, thank you so much for joining us. Lacey, Heart Traveler, Dr. Lindsay Donald has a question. It says, does the body have a vortex spin that is counterclockwise or clockwise? Yes. So for this question, I don't like to give you absolutes because our body is a very complex instrument that we need to learn how to use, and the correct use of the body will help you navigate different situations. Okay, so I want you to listen to your body, and I want you to connect to notice if your vortex is moving in what direction. If it's moving to the right, okay, there's things that we need to release out of the body. This is the masculine again, it's action. This will also tell you what changes need to be done in your life in order to move energy in that direction. If your vortex is moving to the left, this is the divine feminine. So this is receiving. The body needs nourishment, nurturing. Key words that I want you to remember when you're actually observing these movements. And it's the same with individual vortexes. The vortices in the body that we have are actually spinning as well. And the direction in which they're spinning, you see, you are one big black hole or white hole, right? You are one big white hole or black hole. So this is very important. Either you become parasitic. Again, this is again the masculine. You are releasing out of the body completely everything that you need. You have too much. You need to release toxins in the body in order to begin to make space for source to enter the body. Okay, so when you're going to the left, you need the nourishment. So it means that your body has been doing imbalanced exchanges, for example. We're giving more than we're receiving. We are depleting our energy frequencies in low densities, and we're not nourishing or replenishing with high frequency thought forms. And so these kinds of imbalanced exchanges in the body cause depletion. So the vortices work the same way in that if you read the vortex, it's either stagnant or it's moving to the right, moving to the left. It'll tell you what that part needs. And it'll even tell you what your organs need, what emotions need, what emotions you need to release, what emotions you need to nourish these spaces. So the body is a very beautiful, complex system that allows us to understand very clearly what it needs to heal and to come into its optimum abilities. Okay, so this is how I would answer that question. Please pay attention to that. Bob rules, Lindsay, do you listen to Dan Winter? It's a toroid donut shape turning inside out. That's right. Daniel says hi from Quebec, Canada. Hello. So good to see you, Danielle. Cosmic Diana. Hello. Zen. Cosmic Starkholm. So happy to have you here. Thank you so much. I'm going to look for questions really briefly. So if you have any questions, please put them down below. Thank you so much, Rebecca. I don't know where that is, but I would love to if there is an opportunity for that. Life Solutions with Tanya. Hi, Geraldine and everyone else. A bit late. Thank you for joining us. Melinda says, I carried that behavior into my adult life for sure. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. It's wonderful that you're aware of that, right? When you're aware of that, you can begin to shift and change it. Yeah. Gen C is unconditional love. Yes, Liza, thank you so much. Hi from Sweden. So great to see you, Tara. All right. Okay, guys. So let's begin with our meditation. I don't see any urgent questions that we need to answer. Okay, so KJ has a question. Are substances like marijuana and mushrooms good for you if you are using them for spiritual purpose, or will they only create holes in the aura? Yeah, so I get this question a lot. And I also see and notice, working with my clients every single day, how these substances affect their multidimensional body. Okay, this is very important, guys. So here's what happens. These kinds of Medicinal plants, which is created by Mother Nature, has a science. It has not only does the plant at the cellular molecular level itself have a certain geometry to it, but that geometry, that crystallization, is a certain resonance frequency. Okay, so when our physical bodies are at a certain resonant frequency that are not a match to these medicines, we counter create with them. Okay, so let's go a little deeper into what this actually means. When we are in a state of survival and fear, and when we have overwhelming emotions, we are in fight or flight. So we want to check out. And this is what happens with the human. When they're blocked and they're unable to access the higher intuitive abilities, we become blocked. And when we don't have connection to the higher self, we're going to feel separate. Always. When you have a disconnect to the higher self, you will feel lonely, disconnected, and separate. Okay, only when you are in unison, integration with all three, are you whole, are you in the 0 point. So what happens is that because most people begin to experiment without doing work, I mean, most shamans that are very connected with the earth, with nature, they're cultivating these plants, they are connecting with the essence of the plant. And there's a certain, in the shaman practices, there's a respect that has to be done from the essence of these plants to your essence, and there has to be a communication and a resonance. People usually do the drugs without consciousness. They just do it in order to get a high or to have a quick experience. So what happens when there isn't this unification process with these plant medicines, with these energies, is that it creates a disconnect between what's going to be done. Again, there's no intention. There's no intention. There's no congruent vibrational match. So what happens is that it distorts. You might have a high, you might have heightened senses, you might tune into some very interesting information, but there will not be an integration. And this is very important when we talk about people that do plant medicine, because most people do the plant medicine, they have these incredible highs, they have incredible understandings, but then they go back into their life and it becomes like a picture. It's like you go into this world, like your head comes out of the matrix for a moment into this world of this other dimension, and you become aware of everything, but you are not, the body hasn't crystallized that understanding. And when the body doesn't crystallize that understanding, it's incongruent. So it begins to crack energetically. And the field begins to crack open. There are holes, and different medicines, different substances cause different side effects in the body depending on the frequency and the crystallization of that core molecular system. So it depends. It's meant for different things. A lot of people that are doing these medicines, like marijuana, for example, there is a major disconnect. And marijuana is very, very tricky. It's a very sticky essence. It's very, very unique frequency when you see it. And many psychics, if you have some psychics out there that have tuned into this medicine and have seen this in the other dimension, you will notice, you can tell immediately when someone is using marijuana, because there will be an atrophy in the emotional body, the emotional layers, the second, third layers of the body. There are very dense calcifications of emotions that go numb. They become like this black numb in the body. And what happens is that it suppresses and stagnates the emotional development at the time that the person starts to utilize, and is very addictive, because that numbing sensation it's basically um, faking what self regulation would be in the body, would feel like this very calming, joyful state of the 0 point. So the person never understands how to self regulate in the emotional body and in the energetic body, and in the nervous system. So what happens is as soon as they stop smoking marijuana, they go into a heightened state of survival. And it's very difficult. They become paranoid, and it becomes very difficult for them because there's been a severing of the nervous system and the emotional body. Okay, so this is a sticky substance that when we remove it from the multidimensional, it literally looks like sticky goo. You'll see that it almost creates like a covering over the crown and the third eye. Okay, because it it's you're not processing, you're not alchemizing the life force in the body. And with mushrooms, it's also another energy. Mushrooms have a very uh, spiky energy. Okay. And what that means is that people can go and they go on these trips and they help you navigate these realms, but it's important to learn how to have energetic hygiene in order to navigate those realms. Because if you go into these realms and you're just opening unconsciously, you're going to be taking back a lot of stuff with you. And that's the problem with these mushrooms. So remember that all of these things are medicine, right? And so what that means is that most shamans dedicate an entire life to cultivation of navigation of outer realms, out of the body experiences, in order to be able to begin to use these substances for what they can be used for, which is navigation into these realms and healing. There are powerful ways to utilize this medicine, but before you do that, you know, you need to practice some things. You need to have energetic hygiene, and you need to master the emotions, especially clear your body. Your body needs to be clear. You have to know how to alchemize life force. Okay, so this is very important. And many people, they stun their spiritual evolution by trying some of these things because they think that they understand everything, but there's a lack of integration. And the lack of integration shows in your body, how you are holding energy in your body. So thank you for that question. I know I get that question so much. And I will dedicate a separate live to that at some point. So I appreciate that question. Thank you so much, KJ. In my case, mushrooms, ayahuasca, and marijuana have created a lot of fragmentation. Yes, this is exactly what I hear all the time. And another thing that's very interesting that I notice in the multidimensional body, especially with ayahuasca, is that people create a split in the crown, in the third eye and crown. It's a split, and it creates a split in the vortex. Let me actually just show you really quickly. Where I see this, because I get this question a lot. So if you were to look at this, can you guys see this? Okay, so if you were to look at this, now our chakras, of course, they go up to the higher levels as well. So people fragment these higher realms again because there is no integration. When you go into these dimensional realms without proper practice and training, you are not able to anchor source into the body, and that's what these energies are for. So what happens is fragmentation. These high density energies, like a snapshot, you're thrown into that dimension without preparation. So fragmentation occurs, and people usually feel a split up here. So when I see people missing a whole energy space here, it's because they've entered into these realms, they've done some kind of medicine, but they've not learned how to integrate. Okay, so it's very important to understand the side effects of these medicines are more than just you know diversion, and many people confuse it with being something necessary for our spiritual evolution, and it's really not, because you can reach that state yourself organically. And I know that for a fact, by personal experience. I've never taken these medicines. I've worked with many clients that have, but and I've navigated into the realms of the medicines in order to understand what is accessed through these medicines. But I've been able to access them without utilizing them, and so can you. I would love to hear more about the divine masculine and feminine for the new earth 5D energies. So this is a really huge topic, but how we can learn about our feminine masculine energies is by beginning to become familiar with our own feminine masculine life force within us. Okay? So that means, how are you creating your relationship with creation, your relationship with intuition, your relationship with sex, your relationship with creativity, with flow, with surrender. Okay, that's the whole feminine. So take a look at your relationship with that, and we are refining these energies uh, as we do this work. And it's the same with the masculine, your action, your ability to move, your ability to manifest and put into work, your ability to uh, trust the intuition and act on that, the congruency between the higher and the lower. All of these have to do with your masculine. So these are things that can be cultivated. Okay. Is the vortex direction in both the north and southern hemisphere? Um, well, yeah. So actually, I probably would need you to clarify that question, because I can answer that question in like 20 different ways, because it depends what you're asking. So if you're talking about, this having to do with the body itself, our northern hemisphere, for those of you that don't know, this upper part of the hemisphere, right? So the vortices, when they're in balance, the vortices are moving in alternating directions. Okay. So when they're in balance, you're moving these in different directions. And the way, but essentially, when you come into the 0 point, they're all moving in the same direction. Okay, so there's two different ways of utilizing this energy in the body. When you begin to clear out blockages in the body, the vortices begin to move. These are like communication devices. They're like purification devices. Each one of the vortex is it's made up of all the subconscious beliefs and program that project into the body, and it's also absorbing information from the external. So when these each vortex, because it's a communication device, it's going to be receiving, inputting, and outputting different kinds of information. You need to pay attention to that. So it's not so much about northern and southern hemisphere as much as it's about what's going on for you in that space. At the time of death, all of our vortexes begin to move in a certain direction, in one direction. And it's very important because, again, the direction of your vortex will either make you a white hole or a black hole. This is basically what the universe is made up of: white holes and black holes. And which means we're either co-creative and expansive or contractive and parasitic. Okay. So this is a process. There is no right or wrong. The entire body is functioning at these states. Okay. So let me see if I have any more questions here. Thank you guys. Great questions. I have seen it during my sessions with you, and I see it a lot in plant medicine community when I do energy work. Yeah, interesting. Wonderful, Rebecca. So there's somebody that has also seen that. Yeah. How can I clear traumas from the body? All right, this is exactly what we're going to be doing together today. And again, I mentioned there are two ways to clear trauma. So let's break down what is the trauma. Trauma is the result, the fragmentation that is occurring as a result of your innate self and what you know uh, intuitively, in alignment with nature. So when we're children, for example, we're very connected to nature. We're very connected to our intuition. We are still in that divine, pure state of flow, unity. We have not yet, but depending on what age, met separation, fear, and the things that block our ability to see ourselves as one with all. As we grow from everything from the womb until we get to the age of 7, we begin to experience, and it'll define, all the experiences define our understanding of separation. So the idea how to heal that, this is what trauma is in the most raw form. How can we reverse that? Is we begin to show the child self the opposite. Take it from separation back to unity, because that's true. That's what's truth, actually. What is truth? I talk about this in other videos. Truth is what's closest to nature, balance, the natural laws, the cycles of life, the Fibonacci uh, numerical structure that creates the architecture of this hologram at the base core. And we are moving through that from the lowest density to the highest density. So, how we can begin to match nature is by coming into the most congruent self at the core. Okay, so how you heal the trauma is by doing the opposite, showing the child self the opposite from that separation experience where there was a disconnect, that moment where you knew what is love, what is unity, but the external was showing you differently. Broaden the perspective and begin to notice that is true, but so is this. Unity is true, but so is separation. And separation has many different, we are made of infinite potential. That's the thing. So we are learning how to experience unity and separation in all dimensional planes in many different ways. So we have to refine our vision in order to understand when we're being shown separation and when we're being shown unity. That's actually the highest way of discernment. How to have discernment, understand when you're being shown separation and understand when you're being shown unity. And this is kind of tricky because in our world, things are masked in layers. Okay, so we need to be able to see the what's actually being presented from us. Again, the suppression of the subconscious mind at the real core of things. Okay, so the idea is go back to these childhood experiences. You will definitely, you're going to find many experiences in the past few years, but the root is in the childhood. So I would look at the childhood and begin to look at the patterns, because what you'll discover is that your life is nothing more than repeated childhood patterns over and over again. That's what you'll discover. That's why when we get to the childhood, this is where we're accessing the root. And if you resolve that, you will begin to see all of the other patterns of your other stages of your life are also going to make sense. They'll be very clear and they'll be much easier to resolve, because you will have learned and understood root programs that take you back to the highest truth. Okay, so how you clear the trauma is by going back to these experiences and broadening into this unity, looking at unity and separation, and then coming back, teaching yourself how to see as unity, how to see this terrible experience as a part of you. Okay, so and that requires a lot of compassion and self-love, but in that process, an integration occurs, because trauma is seeing ourselves as separate from something, an event, a person, a thing, something that was said, or something that was felt. We feel separate from that. So when we see ourselves as one with that, that's when we heal. That's integration, and that's expansion, because you now, it's like you're sitting in a room with a little lamp over your head. You can only see what the lamp is shining the light on. So when you raise that lamp a little higher, the visibility space becomes broader, right? So you can see more, see more, see more, see more. The more that you see, the more that you become aware of. That's why awareness is so important. You grow, and you're growing not just in like conceptually, but you are literally growing uh, as a whole. And in the healing process, you begin to become aware of yourself as the all, like this. Okay? So all of these little dots in the center core are the major trauma points in your life that when you begin to dissolve them, they become awake. So now you can see through this point. Then this other point becomes awake. You now become aware. The reintegration, the every point that you bring into unity again is how you become whole. Your entire body becomes whole, and you're going to do this in your lifetime. So in the center field is all the dots that make up your current life experiences, and as you keep moving into past lives, as you do you'll find that you're repeating the same things in past lives and future lives. Again, time is simultaneous, so we're simultaneously expanding ourselves as all until you become the all, until you become the entire universe once again. You're going to become planets, you're going to become galaxies, solar systems, and you're going to become one with the all. Again, you are source, right? I can't see. Okay, so we become source, right? So we become one in all dimensional planes until you become the infinite source, one with the all. Okay, so that's super, super important. So let me come over here to stop share. Thank you for that question. I know that this is a quick answer to that. And I also explain that you can remove trauma out of the body, and we will do that today. Okay, we have a question here for the feminine. I have painful periods where my tummy turns into what feels like a heavy brick. Does this have to do with the feminine energy, and how does it release? Yes, it does. So when we have, for the women, and it's important for men to know too, because you probably have partners, but for the women, and actually it's the same functions for the men as well. Okay, and think of it when men get prostate cancer, for example, or when they get illnesses in their reproductive organs. It's the accumulation of stagnation and not being able to process life force properly. It's also programs of feeling of self doubt for such a long time, feeling that we are unsafe in surrender. And it's the same thing for the feminine. When the feminine cannot create, feminine or masculine cannot create, cannot manifest from a place of empowerment, which means congruency, the higher and the lower, she becomes stagnant. And so I want you to take a look at your relationship with the masculine. Okay. So what is your relationship with the masculine? This is usually modeled by the father figure. So observe, father, whether father was there, whether father was not there, they both play an important role. Whether there was another person that played a father figure, all of those play a role. Whether you're adopted, whoever was the masculine energy, it might even be a woman if you're in a same-sex marriage. The masculine energy in that union as a parent is what influenced your ability to understand the masculine. So I want you to observe your dynamic, how you felt in the presence of that masculine energy. Sometimes some of you have one parent, right? And that parent usually has to go into the masculine energy in order to hold space. And that's all that we know. Okay. So feminine or masculine, sometimes the men go more into the feminine. It becomes that one becomes the whole. Okay. So we need to learn how to balance our perception of both masculine and feminine for the women and the men, especially in the sexual organs, because the sexual organs is the center of co-creation. The highest form of co-creation is actually bringing a living being into this world, right? So we bring living things. We bring things to life in many ways. We are an engine of creation. We do it through the words that we speak, the thoughts that we think, the intentions, and of course the actions, and then birth. So these are all the mechanisms of the human of creation. So when we are struggling with any of those processes, the sexual organs and the throat are the ones that are mostly affected. So this is like, because the throat is the vibrational engine. It's the engine of vibrational frequency communication. We are speaking vibrational data into the system, and we get inputs, outputs. So when we have this creation center messed up, as a result of sexual abuse, as a result of imbalanced exchanges, sexual energy, feelings of insecurities and doubt of the self, shame, guilt, especially shame and guilt. These root programs, and there's many more, but I'm giving the most common ones. These root programs create an inversion in your ability to create. They stagnate because you're creating, but you really don't believe that you can create. You don't trust in your creation all the time. So, this mistrust in the creation creates an incongruency in the body. And usually, this creates problems and complications in the womb. That's the sacral. So, if your relationship with yourself is constantly strained, judgmental, disconnected, and now the feminine, right? Mistrusting in yourself, then we're going to have a lot of problems here in the sacral. So this is something that we want to work on. And as soon as you begin to come into that 0 point, your body will be able to release naturally without a problem. Okay, and this is also important for the men because when men don't know how to do that as well, they end up with diseases or problems as well. Okay. Does it really depend on the practitioner if someone can be hypnotized, or is the person? Um, I think the practitioner is important because I've found myself in situations where I required a third vision, where there were things, blocks in the body that I would have needed someone to assist me in clearing at that time of hypnotherapy, because I myself didn't know how to do it. Or sometimes when you're in hypnosis, you are not able to access that faculty because when you're in a very deep level, sometimes there's a disconnect between the ability to work in that realm and what you're experiencing. So it is important to have someone that you're working with that is at least somewhat aware of holding a powerful space for you to do a healing, so that you can channel intuitively what you need to do in that session for hypnotherapy. I also find that a lot of my clients have a difficult time, if they don't have a daily meditation practice. They become stunted in their ability to surrender, and so you need a practitioner that can have the patience to take you in as deep as possible, and sometimes that takes a lot of time. Sometimes because of trauma or something, it can take a lot of time in the induction, and it has to be done in steps. We do it in steps, not just in the beginning, do it in the middle and the end. And usually I will do that for my clients. So, yeah, both matter. You have to also do the work to prepare yourself for hypnotherapy, and you also want to choose a practitioner that is versed in the area that you're looking to get healing in, right? So if you're just looking for past life regression, or smoking cessation or something like this, you probably won't need someone that gets into those topics. But if you're looking to go really deep into past lives and actively integrate and heal from them, you want someone that knows how to do that. Okay, so there's different kinds of hypnotherapy. Kevin says mushrooms have brought profound blessings for me. That's so awesome. That's right. It's not really something to play with or be unconscious with. That's right. Yes. All right, great. Yes, thank you so much, Kevin. We are all here to learn in our own terms, free will or master plan. Yes, it is. I'm grateful and thankful that I gave up smoking caffeine. It was good for me to quit. That's great. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. Hi, guys. Marilena, Angie, Cedric. So good to see you, Tom. Awesome. All right, love. So let's get started with our weekly practice. I want to thank you so much for joining me. It's been such an honor to be here with you guys today, and I want to thank you for your incredible questions. So let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath. Breathing deeply. With every breath you take, as you allow yourself to go deeper and deeper into a state of complete relaxation. And we're going to set the intention that today, in today's Self-Love Sunday, we are going to begin to train ourselves for this week, setting an intention that this week we are going to work in a way that's a little bit more awake than last week. We're going to come into a state of mindful awareness. I want you to connect with your beautiful body. And as you begin to calm your body, breathing deeply, I want you to put absolute focus on your breath as you're inhaling and exhaling. And I just want you to slow everything way down. Breathing deeply. I want you to sit in stillness, and I want you to observe the stillness. Go ahead and tune into what you're hearing around you, and you're going to come into a state of observation. Just observing. Observing how you feel when you hear what you're hearing. Observing how you feel when you taste what you're tasting. Observing how you feel when you tune into what you're sensing around you. And there's a big difference between observation and judgment. You're going to find that very quickly here with me today. That we are not applying any meaning to anything that we're seeing and experiencing. We're simply observing. Noticing any thoughts. And we're not going to apply any meaning to the thoughts that are coming into the mind. We're just observing. Take your observation to the crown of your head and just observe what the crown of the head feels like. Go down into the head, into the forehead, the back of the head, the face, releasing the brow. Try to make this as flat as possible, the brow. Releasing the cheekbones. Releasing the jaw. Okay, so focus on releasing any tension in the jaw. Releasing any tension in the tongue and the neck. Releasing tension in the neck and the back. Going down to the shoulders. Allowing yourself to sit up straight. Allowing your arms to drop heavy to your sides. Not having to force any movement, any position. Just listen to your body. Just observe the body. Listen to what it's asking. And without judgment or applying meaning to anything, just bring yourself into a state of observation. Okay, let's go into the chest. Feeling the oxygen entering and exiting the body. Every muscle that you release, you will also release memories and thoughts with that. So if memories start to jump into your mind, you're just going to observe them without applying any meaning. Going down into the solar plexus, the center core. Begin to expand any kind of tight muscles in the center core in the back of your body. Starting at the upper spine, working your way down to the middle of the spine, actively releasing any tension in those muscles. The moment that you become aware, just like in the quantum field with our thoughts and our traumas, the moment you become aware of the tenseness in your muscles, it begins to release. So just acknowledge the tension in the spine, the mid back, the lower back, the sacral, and the root. Into the center core, releasing any tension in the solar plexus now, into the upper Tien, the center, and the lower. Going down into your abdomen, into the sexual organs now, releasing any tension in the muscles, going into the hips, observing without applying any meaning, breathing into those spaces. Any resistance, any tightness that wants to come back into contraction, you're going to gently release, and you're going to breathe, sustaining that expansion. Because when we're in a lot of stress in our lives, we immediately want to come back to contraction because it feels safe and it feels familiar. So you're going to have to break the pattern and begin to allow yourself to be comfortable with expansion. This is something that we have to train as a human in this physical experience. Going into the lower hips, into the thighs. Breathing deeply. Breathing deeply. When you're in survival, even your communication becomes tense. The stomach muscles tense up even when you're speaking. But in the 0 point, the entire body is functioning with harmony. So go down to the hips now. Focus on the joints of the thighs where the leg meets the pelvic bone, and breathe into that space. This is where we condense a lot of heavy energy, a lot of thoughts, emotions, fears, anxieties, resentments, primarily in the lower back of your body. This is the root of the subconscious mind in the state of survival. So any thought forms of survival, not being safe, not having a home, not having a place to feel safe in, to have space in, to have privacy, to have alone time. Anytime that you feel that you're unsafe in your own environment, wherever that is, at work, at home, or in public, we should be able to feel absolutely integrated and safe and at home. Okay, so just gently observe those thoughts around safety. Go down into the thighs now, into the center core, into the femur, as you go down the bone, into the muscles, into the knees, releasing any tension, noticing the layers of thought forms that release as you release muscle tension. Go down into the shins, into the calves. Okay. And you're also going to see, for those of you that are very visual and intuitive, different shades of colors flashing around your body as you release tension in the muscles. These colors also indicate emotional programs in the body. It has to do with frequency. Different ranges of frequency have a different color emanation that can be processed through the eyes and through the vision. So as you go down into the feet, releasing any tension in the feet. Okay, the feet have the doors of the sun here. These are the connections to the central core sun at the center of the earth. Okay, so begin to open these spaces in order for yourself to feel fully grounded with the earth, meaning that you begin to recognize your body as a whole with the planet Earth. You are one with the earth, and it's important for you to align yourself with Earth because this is how you get information. The earth is like a giant antenna of a collective subconscious, unconscious, and we are usually operating like puppets with the collective unconscious. So and subconscious. So we want to break away from the programs of the karmic cycles that are emerging from these core programs by becoming aware. And the only way to become aware is to fully acknowledge and see them, feel them, know them. So as you see yourself as one with Earth, coming fully into your body now, go down to your perineum. That's right at the center of your body, at the very base of the spine. Okay, it's the center point between the front and back of your body, the sexual organs. Okay, and as you put your focus there, I want you to breathe deeply. Visualize pulling life force up into the body. You're going to put your tongue at the roof of your mouth. Okay, and I just want you to take a nice deep breath and notice as you breathe in, how far up does the energy go up in your body? I just want you to notice that. Okay. So this will help you understand that as however far the energy goes up or you intuit it goes up is indicating where you have blockages in your physical body. Essentially, when you practice this, you will feel that energy coming all the way up to the crown of your head, and you will feel that energetic awakening in all the chakras. So by the end of this meditation, you will be able to move that life force more fluidly. Okay, so let's begin to connect with this now as we are. You can close the pelvic floor, breathing deeply. I want you to focus on the vortex of your body as you do that. You're going to feel a spinning sensation. Go ahead and focus on that spin. Begin to acknowledge the spinning of your body. And I want you to take the temperature of that spin, so to speak. How is it moving? What direction is it moving? Is it slow? Is it fast? Is it stagnant? Does it feel broken? Does it feel difficult to visualize? All of these things are telling you about your body right now. Okay, so go ahead and visualize now from the center of the earth. We're going to pull up a powerful green life force, which is the color that the earth has selected for its energy frequency. You're going to bring that up into the body. You're going to create a vortex around your body spinning and cleaning your spin, basically, is what's happening. So go ahead and visualize that green life force spinning around you. We're going to be working with the 13-dimensional layers of the body. Okay? Go ahead and visualize that spin moving through your spin, cleaning the 13-dimensional layers of the body. We're going to do this in steps, so just follow my directions. With every breath you take, you're allowing that spin to go faster. Okay, the focus here is not to move that spin forcefully faster. The focus is to read your body. So I want you to read it, observe it. You're not going to apply any meaning to anything you're observing here. We're just going to do the work. Okay? From the cosmos, we're going to bring source energy down to the crown of the head, and you're going to combine it with this green life force. Go ahead and move that green and gold life force all around you. Okay, you're going to feel that spin. I want you to keep your body as still as possible. Keep the tongue at the roof of the mouth. You'll notice that your eyeballs are going to go up towards the center of the forehead. Okay. Ground yourself down to the center of the earth. I want you to visualize that you're connecting down to the center of the earth. You're going to create a light that connects from your chest the waist, the pelvic bone down to the center core. Okay. Excellent. So now that you have this green and gold energy moving around you, we're going to begin to do some work. I want you to begin to visualize creating a channel of elimination down the center core of your body into the center of the earth. Now, the earth functions like a recycling mechanism. So go ahead and visualize releasing any debris that you've picked up into the center core of the body, of the earth. Breathing. Being mindful of your spin, being mindful of your body, being mindful of your position. Okay. Okay. We're going to go back to the solar plexus. We're going to take green and gold 80% up from the crown of your head, creating a fountain, coating the outside of your field. So just go ahead and tune into your field around your body. Clearing the matrix. This is the hologram. Everything within the 13-dimensional layers that we are clearing out, any kind of deception, imbalanced relationships with people, places, and things that we no longer wish to align with. Go ahead and visualize clearing, neutralizing your connection to that, and calling back your life force into your body, breathing deeply. As you allow that life force back into your body to nourish your body, to heal your body. Coming back to that 0 point. Nobody should be struggling. Nobody should be trying to do anything. Just observe, gently allow the directions to just become embodied without any forcing. Okay? Go back to your solar plexus. You're going to take that final 10% and it's going to come in to nourish your physical body. Everything that I'm teaching you here these are practices that are created from the inside out, meaning that our body's architecture is already functioning in this way. All you're doing is you're becoming aware of those natural movements of your body. That's why it'll feel very easy, and many of you will even recognize this as something that you've been doing on your own naturally. Okay, this is how I learned about it as well. So you're going to take that 10% and bring it into the body now, absorbing it into the core of the body. I want you to take this moment to connect with your body after such a busy week and at the beginning of a next week to heal yourself, connect with yourself, nourish yourself, love yourself. This is going to be a moment of acceptance. Everything that you are, everything that you're not, we're going to accept it. And if you need to embrace yourself like I'm doing, hugging yourself, I really want you to do this. I've found that it's very, very nourishing and healing for the body because we begin to create chemicals in the body that help move stagnation when you hug the self. Okay? So this is all based on science and understanding how this incredible instrument functions. So as you embrace yourself, breathing deeply, nourishing the body, healing the body, I want you to send that green and gold energy to all areas of the body that require healing, that require more nourishment. Any problem that you're having physically, go ahead and fill it with this cosmic and earth energy so that you can begin to nourish, heal. You'll begin to feel a little more joyful at this moment. And this is the power of this healing that you can access at any time of your day. I want you to remember that this week. Okay, begin to focus on the root chakra at the base of the spine. We're just going to gently shrink that chakra down to the size of a dime, front and back. Go up to the sacral, shrink it down to the size of a dime. The solar, shrink it down to the size of a dime. Your heart, expanding that heart chakra as wide as possible. The throat, opening that throat chakra as wide as possible. The third eye, opening that third eye as wide as possible. Breathing deeply. Breathing is important. Okay. So let's begin by working in the first layer of the body. Go ahead and tune into the first layer. Remember what the first layer looks like. It's the field around your body. So as you begin to observe the first layer, starting at the crown of your head, this is directly connected to everything in your physical body. We're going to align this field. You're going to heal it. It's going to become bubble. It's a bubble around you. It's a layer of your body. You're going to heal it. I want you to tune into it and notice where you see openings, tears, cracks, where it's difficult to imagine this layer of your body around you, and you're going to become aware of it. You're going to create. You're going to imagine it full, complete, all around you. So go ahead and work on the first layer. Okay, healing that first layer of the body completely. Just observe how your body shifts, thoughts change as you heal the first layer of your body. Okay? When you heal the first layer of the body, you're literally shifting the entire quantum field around you. So go ahead and heal that first layer of the body. Okay? Make it whole. Okay, go into the second layer of the body, from the crown of the head down, all around you. Begin to repair the second layer of your body. And so what you'll see inside of the layers of the body is you might see debris. Areas that are open and cracked are areas that have openings and blockages. So I want you to look at those areas and I want you to remove whatever is blocking the ability to have a perfect solid field around your body. Okay, so wherever they are, go ahead and visualize. I want you to create a vortex of violet light outside of your body. And you're going to pull the blockage out and send it into that vortex of violet light. That vortex of violet light connects back up into your center core, into your source light. So as you pull out the debris of every layer, you will be able to close the field around you. Okay, second layer. Going into the third layer now. Okay. Healing the third layer, clearing out the debris in the third layer. Breathing deeply from the top crown of your head down to the base of your feet. Breathing with every breath you take, spinning your vortex, becoming aware of that spin, sending down to the center of the earth any debris or out into that violet vortex. Noticing any thoughts, any emotions that come up. Any emotions that come up are an invitation for you to work on them. And this is usually the emotion that you've been feeling all week. We're going to work on that in just a moment. As you become aware of the emotion, I want you to be absolutely present with the emotion. And the more that you sit still with that emotion fully in your body and present, you will get memories that are connected to this emotion over the past week. I want you to breathe through, bringing yourself back into a state of non-judgmental observation. You're going to feel your body wanting to tense up, your body wanting to respond, wanting to come into flight or flight. Breathe through that that want, that desire to clench back up, breathe through that. Okay, so this is your spin. And as this body is spinning around you, okay, you are looking where the debris are blocking the field. So right now we are working in the second layer of the body. We're going to go up into the third layer of the body. So let's go ahead and notice the third layer of the body. And I want you to repair that third layer of the body from the top of the crown down to the base of the feet. Okay, working in the third layer now. Go ahead and clear out all the blockages in the third layer of the body. This is you're basically working with the information in the solar plexus now. This is the third chakra. So all of the subconscious programs that are in the solar plexus, you're going to be removing them out of this field, bringing yourself back into a state of observation. Breathing deeply. Okay. I'm going to go up into your fourth layer now. Go ahead and go up into the fourth layer, clearing out the fourth layer, any debris in the fourth layer, any blockages that you feel. Breathing deeply. Repairing that fourth layer of your body. Okay, going up into the fifth layer. Clearing out all the debris in the fifth layer. You'll notice that your body comes into a state of calm as you do this. Okay, clear out from the fifth layer. Blockages, thought forms that are limiting, fears, programs of separation. Clear them out. Okay, go ahead and go into the sixth layer. This is your intuitive self, the intuition. Go ahead and clear all of those programs that block your ability to intuit, to see, to feel, to sense, to know. Clear them out. Go up into the crown layer of your body. Go ahead and clear, heal this layer of your body. Clearing out. Okay, let's go ahead and go up into the eighth layer now. This is your co-creation. Go ahead, clear out any programs around center of co-creation. Repair the field. Tune into your body, read your body, observe. The more you get to know your body, the more you understand how to utilize these tools. So go up into the eighth, into the ninth, clearing out, repairing the field, bringing awareness into every layer of your being. These are layers of filtration. They filter our perceptions, projections into what we're experiencing. So as you become aware of what are your filters, what are your blockages that create your perception, you can begin to refine your emanation of life force, your frequency. Okay, go up into the 10th layer, clear it out. Okay, 11th layer, 12th, that's your 12th chakra, 12th layer, and 13th. Okay, you should be able to come into a nice deep meditation at this point. So now that you're running energy through the body, I want you to visualize a room filled with contracts. These represent your karmic contracts, all the agreements that we've made, all of the experiences that we have in our life from birth, all the patterns that we've created, that we've believed. They're all written here in these contracts. So I want you to shine your crown light now from your crown of your head on top of these contracts. Go ahead and dissolve them. Empty that room. Remember to breathe. Dissolving all the contracts in that room. Make sure there are no sublayers, hidden doors, trap doors, basements, attics in this house that you're missing. This is working with the subconscious mind. Right now, you are holographically working with your subconscious mind. This is all the projection of your DNA. You're reading it. So as you begin to dissolve these layers out, I want you to see a color that represents your highest vibrational frequency. Some of you might already know your color. Go ahead and illuminate your crown with this color. We're going to set the intention that this week, every moment of our day, our actions, our words, our intentions are in alignment with our highest expression. So go ahead and illuminate the areas of career, the work that we do in this world. We're going to align it with our highest expression, with abundance. So in the crown, you're going to visualize a wheel that you're entering this color into every one of those sections in your crown. Okay. Love, relationships, intimacy, co-creation, creativity, sexual energy, creative life force, spiritual work, balance, harmony, and your purpose. Fill that in. Okay, as you illuminate and activate your crown with this color, I want you to begin to fill this house, this room, with this color. As you are setting the intention that we are no longer repeating patterns, but we are in a state of co-creation in the 0 point, simultaneously in alignment with all dimensional layers of our co-creation. And that alignment is our highest expression. And this higher expression will begin to change. It'll change into a higher state every time as we progress, as we heal, as we integrate more. So as you see that room filled with this color, as you begin to activate your DNA, as you begin to activate the work that you're here to do, I want you to sit for a moment in silence, breathing deeply, holding this space, holding your space. Begin to visualize through all your chakras going up to the 13th that you're connecting up to Source. And I want you to anchor that pure life force into the center of your body, like a white liquid that comes down to all your higher chakras, into the crown of your head, throat, heart, solar plexus, sacral, and root, down into the center core of the earth. As you begin to focus on the Tien, which is the collection of the root, the sacral, and the solar, beginning to purify any kind of stagnant, limiting belief systems. Just visualize that every belief system that is stagnant in the field gently begins to dissolve into a white light. Breathing deeply with every breath you take, beginning to pull up that life force from the perineum up into the crown of the head and around the front of the body. It moves like a cycle through the body. And as it moves through the body, your vortex also begins to spin more fluidly. The tongue is at the roof of the mouth. The pelvic floor is closed. And just come into a state of non-judgmental observation. Bringing your attention back to your breath each moment. You will feel the energy growing and growing and growing at the center core of your body. It is a blissful state. Is it a state of love, unconditional love, and unity? You're not expecting anything. You're not doubting anything. You're just being and observing. You're existing as one with all. You begin to feel yourself as one with the chair that you're in, as one with the furniture around you, the room, the space, the home you're in, the city you're in, the country you're in, the earth, as you begin to expand your view of yourself, watching yourself, meditating in this moment, as well as being the observer from the self to the external, begin to broaden your vision. This is how you begin to generate life force. Cultivate it. So I want you to memorize what this feels like, and as you open your eyes, to begin to continue to feel this white life force moving through your body. You're going to open your root chakra with your eyes open. I want you to feel what that feels like. You're going to open your sacral, open your solar, your heart is already open, your throat, your third eye, and your crown. Okay, so as you're here in alignment with your physical body, welcome back. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. It was such an honor to host Self Love Sunday with you. Thank you so much to everyone that joined us, and I hope you guys have an incredible week. Let me see if we have any questions. Can you speak a little bit about DNA reprogramming? Can this help with old patterns? Yes, DNA reprogram is nothing but assisting you with breaking old patterns. It is a very profound healing modality that will help you access these core memories and begin to reintegrate from them, as I explained earlier in the video today. So if you are looking to really make a shift in how you are, experiencing your everyday life, DNA reprogramming is a really powerful way to begin to learn. And it is designed not only as a healing, but a training, because my work here is not to be someone for you to depend on, but to give you all the information so that you can do this on your own, because this is something that I learned how to do by myself on my own, but something that many, many ancient sages from around the world have also tuned into this wisdom of the body. Once you learn how to connect with your body, you learn how to work on these higher levels. So I want you to experience that. That's the most wonderful thing that anyone can do, in my opinion, as a human, in order to activate their highest abilities. So I want to thank you so much. Pono, thank you so much for joining. Brown Dwarf, thank you so much. Luis Guzman, thank you so much for being here. Scott had to go. Thank you so much for joining us, Scott. Blanca says, hi, Geraldine. When you say vortex, how exactly are we picturing it? Spinning horizontally, vertically, clockwise? Thanks. If you can kind of review the video that I showed earlier, we talked about the vortex is spinning around the body, and I also showed some graphics. So let me share that with you again, just really briefly, in case anybody missed it. What is this spin of the body? So our body is very much alike. Let me show you. Let's see if I can find this. Okay, so in this plane here, we had the higher and lower plane of the body. We talk about the Merkaba, right? The Merkaba is like two triangles, one that have been inverted. So this is literally speaking to the vortex of the body, the higher and lower vortex, and we are that spinning vortex. So essentially, the way that energy moves through the body is like this. And as you can see, this point here would make up the bottom vortex, and this makes up the top vortex. But essentially, energy is weaving in and out of our bodies like this. And we have these vortex points, um, weavings of energy through the body all the way up to the higher level. So it doesn't really look like this. It looks really huge, like this. Actually, this is how the body is moving. So this is how we are learning how to rotate. So the vortex, as I mentioned earlier, it depends on what our body needs at the time. Sometimes we are contracting energy, and sometimes we are expelling energy, and that will change the direction in which your vortex is moving. Both your greater vortex and your individual chakra vortices are also moving in that way. So when we enter into the 0 point, we are moving at the highest point in which all the chakras are fluidly processing this life force through the body. Gen Z, this is a program. I love you. Thank you, Gen Z. Amy Mary, hi Geraldine. I registered for your webinar, but I didn't receive a link to view it. I've sent an email, but I haven't received back. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, I actually don't host that. It's actually Portal to Ascension, and they did send out an email. Most people got it. So do you want to check spam really quickly to see if maybe you didn't get it? And if not, please send me your email, and I will actually, let's go check out Portal to Ascension website and email Neil. If he has little chat bots in the middle, if you just send him the email, I'm sure he will be able to assist you right away. Okay, hope you can watch the replay, and the slides are on my website. Pona says, white liquid flowing through your middle space. Yeah. Thank you so much, Rig Ruggles, for your super chat. I am so grateful. Thank you for that. It is so sweet. Thank you, Rebecca Okedo, for your super chat as well. It is such a blessing. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you, Steve, Marilena. You guys are amazing. How are people giving those tips in USD? Oh, how can you donate? I believe there's a donate button on the bottom of the actual website. It's called a super chat, I believe. Uh, you can you can add a super chat, and the super chat will allow you to enter a monetary number that you would like to donate. I'm very grateful. Those help me continue doing these free rich events, so you can donate through there if you feel. You can also do it to my PayPal as well if that's easier for you. My spin went from the left before the meditation to the right in the meditation. Loved the green and gold feeling. Wow, I love that, Lyra. That's so wonderful. So that's telling you where you were in the beginning. That's so beautiful. And you were able to shift into a state of empowerment. Wow, that's exciting to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, guys, thank you so much. Happy toroidal fractal stars in the spiral helix. Yes. Okay, guys, I love you very, very much. I want to thank you so much for everything that you have provided in these through your questions. Love you very much, and I hope you have an incredible week. Happy new moon. It is such a gift to be sharing this time with you. All right. Unconditional love, guys. Oh, Lisa Davies says, Geraldine, going into this meditation midway felt like I was entering a tube. My crown, third eye, I could sense many colors, especially vibrant, moving around like flame. Yes, this is normal. And I was mentioning that in the meditation, you're going to see flashes of lights and colors. I want you to notice how these colors change as you release the tension of your muscles, because you're releasing emotional data. So pay attention to that. All the colors mean something. They're telling us something. It's vibrational ranges, like I showed you in my chart. We'll talk about color frequency maybe next weekend. So put in the chat what you want to know about, and every week we'll have a theme, and we'll have Q&A just like this. And hopefully next week it'll be in the Zoom so that you can participate with me, okay? Because I would really love for you guys to be interactive. All right. Thank you so much. Angie, thank you so much for that super chat. Oh, thank you so much. That's so amazing. I'm so happy to hear that, Angela. Guys, have an amazing week. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.